Joining me now is the State Liberal member for the Western Victorian region, Bev McArthur. Now, Bev, you were present at the rally yesterday on the steps of Parliament House. We saw firefighters and farmers in large numbers protesting the Allan Government's new emergency services tax, which, as you say, punishes the very farmers who help protect regional communities by volunteering in the CFA.
Put your hand up if you're a farmer. Keep your hand up if you're also a volunteer. Have a look at that. That tells the story.
Now, your party has pledged to scrap the tax should you win the state election in 2026, but that wasn't the only protest you were present for yesterday. You also helped a farmer deliver a small gift to Jacinta Allan's parliamentary office, a box of cow manure, along with a note reading, "Dearest Jacinta, I have considered your levy and here's my feedback. It's bull dust. Love Brutus and family." Now, the Premier did not take this well.
A couple of Liberal politicians acted in a disgraceful, inappropriate way in a workplace, in the parliamentary workplace. Well, I condemn that behaviour. You know who hasn't condemned that behaviour? The Leader of the Opposition, Brad Batten.
Oh my, that's a little bit precious, Bev. As I understand it, this incident is now before the Parliament's presiding officers. Is there anything you can tell us about this? Are you restricted in what you can say until it's been resolved?
Nobody has contacted me, Rita. But all I can say is this Labor government has failed over a long period of time since they introduced this tax to listen to anybody. They won't answer emails of constituents. They won't answer phone calls. They won't attend rallies. They weren't on the steps of Parliament yesterday. They just do not listen. And the farming community, and they make up a large percentage of the CFA volunteer firefighters, are at their wits' end. They're in desperate situations, Rita. The drought, some estimate, is worse than the 1900 drought. There's no water, there's no fodder, and they can hardly get it from anywhere, even if it's available from interstate. I understand there's fodder in Western Australia, but South Australia won't let us bring it across the border. They're in a terrible situation. The mental strain on farmers at the moment is terrible, and they're desperate. And it's not fair that they impose a tax, which I am so pleased the Coalition has pledged to repeal when we defeat this shocking government in November 26. This is what has to happen. You can't just keep hitting people like this government's doing, and especially people that feed those inside the tram tracks 100% of the time. It's a very sad situation out in the country, Rita, and I'll stand with the farmers and the volunteer firefighters and the professional firefighters every day. They're looking after us. They leave their properties to go and fight fires, often on state land, state forests, national parks. That's where the fires start because of absolutely shocking management by this government. And now they're going to be hit with a 150% increase in a tax, which they absolutely can't afford, especially at this time.
Now, you're right about the drought. In parts of Victoria, it's the worst we've ever seen. It's seen farmers forced to send thousands of dairy cattle to be slaughtered because they can't afford to feed them. Feed costs have soared to record highs. You've called on Victoria's Minister for Agriculture to address this situation. What is being done to assist these farmers? Because there seems to be a big divide between city folk and regional people in this state. So many people in the city aren't even aware about what's happening and with this crippling drought impacting so many farmers.
Well, thank you, Rita, for raising the issue. And it's great that some of the metropolitan media are now picking this up. And I'm sure people inside the tram tracks they have great sympathy for the farming community because they know they work hard. They're price takers, not price makers. And it's very hard for them to get a product to market and make a profit in the best of times. Now, when they're confronted by adverse weather conditions, increased rate rises, increased bank interest rates, and huge increase in their input costs as well. And then this tax on top, it's just been the last straw combined with this drought. I know on our farm, there's just dirt. You can't see anything but dirt. And if there's a bit of wind, the topsoil's blowing away. So I've asked the Minister for Agriculture, the State Minister, to come and look at what the situation is in our area. See for yourself how desperate people are and how desperate the situation is. And there are dairy farmers that are having to liquidate their herds. I was told by a councillor yesterday at the rally that he'd been phoned by a farmer that morning. He was just going to have to shoot 40 cows, but tens of thousands are going to the slaughterhouse, and these are productive milking cows. Some of the beef cattle that people can no longer retain are being sent into state, but it's a shocking situation. And what the government have handed out is a $5,000 grant that you have to match if you're a farmer. Well, right now they don't have a spare $5,000, and in any case, where would $10,000 go if you're trying and you've got to invest it in infrastructure? It's absolutely nothing.
And we had the state budget yesterday, Bev. It's grim figures. There's no other way to look at it. The Labor government's annual tax take in Victoria is on track to hit $50 billion by 2030. You compare that to what it was when Dan Andrews came to power back in 2014. It was $18.3 billion. So 18.3 to $50 billion. And the state debt is on track to hit $200 billion. You say if you were in power, you would do something about this emergency services tax, but how can you afford to? This state is under crippling debt, the biggest in the country. Surely money needs to come from somewhere.
Well, it shouldn't come from those who are in the most desperate situation. The fire services levy, as it was first introduced, was to pay for fire services, and we would ensure that stayed as it was. But all these other services were funded out of consolidated revenue. They've just foisted a new property tax on Victorians. Every Victorian, every household in Victoria will have a 100% increase. Businesses and enterprises will have a further much higher increase, and farmers was 189% increase, down to 150%. So these core services of keeping people safe should be the first priority of government. That's what they should do. The fact that they run these huge projects over budget, over time, all the time, and they're sucking everything out of the rest of the economy to pay for their vanity projects inside the tram tracks, and they expect people outside of the tram tracks to foot the bill. It's disgraceful.
Bev McArthur, thank you so much for your time tonight.